I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin Clark, the Department of Justice, and quite possibly the President of the United States himself. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. Ms. Clark's targeting may reflect a culture of disparate treatment, and the evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations.
Stephen A. Smith just lit a fuse under the WNBA, and this one could explode all the way to Washington. We're talking federal investigators, civil rights probes, and the league's most valuable player caught in the middle. The question is, has Caitlin Clark been the victim of targeted abuse? And did the WNBA look the other way? Today, we dig deep.
The golden child, in her second year in the league, who was top 4 in MVP voting last year, the assist leader last year, a galvanizing talent that has done wonders for the NBA. If she is seen to be physically getting abused on a basketball court in a way that is such a clear and flagrant discrepancy compared to what happens to others, that man is not going to say something?
On his ESPN platform, Stephen A. Smith didn't just complain about officiating. He called for the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate how Caitlin Clark is being treated on the court, suggesting potential civil rights violations. His words, "The evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe."
Caitlin Clark has done for the women's NBA what Michael Jordan once did for the NBA. Made it more valuable, watchable, and marketable. Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Ms. Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache. That approach could turn into a legal liability for the WNBA.
Since entering the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has become the league's economic engine, driving record.
Since she joined the league last year, Ms. Clark's impact has been seismic. Merchandise sales soared 601%. Indiana Fever viewership jumped 170%. The team's value tripled. League Pass subscriptions climbed 366%. App engagement rose 613%. And her endorsements topped $11 million. She's the economic engine driving the league forward.
Clark absorbed 17% of all flagrant fouls in the entire league last season, double the rate of any other player. And yet, officials often swallowed their whistles. Sophie Cunningham told the Wall Street Journal, "The star player of the league is not being protected." ESPN's Rebecca Lobo added, "Every one of those plays against her has been a foul."
Let me tell you what kind of quotes Trump would lead on. Sophie Cunningham told the Wall Street Journal, she's Caitlin Clark's teammate, the Indiana Fever, "The star player of the league is not being protected." Rebecca Lobo, analyst, ESPN. What does she say? Every single one of those plays against Caitlin Clark has been a foul.
When Clark missed the All-Star weekend due to injury, the direct result of those roughhouse tactics, ratings plunged 36%. That's millions of dollars gone overnight. The goose that lays the golden eggs was sidelined and fans tuned out.
By the way, when she was out for the All-Star weekend this year, because she was hurt, by the way, because of the roughhouse tactics all of those folks alluded to, the ratings dropped 36%. They still had over 2 million views, but they had over 3 million last year. It dropped because she wasn't playing. Now, I told y'all, Candace Parker tried to tell y'all, Rebecca Lobo is trying to tell y'all, the goose that lays the golden eggs, the tide that lifts all boats.
This isn't a one-off incident. Gino Orima says Clark is being targeted, comparing it to Michael Jordan's early battles with the Detroit Pistons. Candace Parker warned the league months ago about star player safety. the WNBA didn't act.
Do you know what Gino Auriemma said? He said she's being targeted. I don't remember when Michael Jordan came into the league, guys looking to go out and beat him up. Only the Detroit Pistons were looking to beat him up. And then after that, the New York Knicks with Pat Riley and Ewing and Anthony Mason and Xavier McDaniels and Charles Oakley and all of these guys. The John Starks of the world, Derek Harpers of the world eventually, stuff like that.
Stephen A. Smith didn't just criticize the WNBA. He opened the door to something that should terrify Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and every league executive. When Stephen A. goes from sports commentary to suggesting federal intervention, you know the situation has reached a breaking point that goes way beyond basketball.
Ms. Clark's targeting may reflect a culture of disparate treatment, and the evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations. Am I making it up now? Remember I said this months ago. Remember I talked about people being jealous. The Cheryl Swoops of the world and others. Remember I pointed that stuff out? Remember I talked about the rough housing?
The Wall Street Journal went further, suggesting the federal government investigate as a workplace safety and civil rights issue. Senator Jim Banks has already sent a formal letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert demanding answers. If Congress and the Justice Department get involved, every email, every referee's call, every internal meeting could come under a microscope.
This would mirror the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission investigation into the Erica Hamby's pregnancy discrimination claims against the WNBA and her team. Congress and Labor and Justice Departments would be justified in examining the facts.
The media is split. Fans are rallying with hashtags like #ProtectCaitlin Clark, while some former stars and current rivals insist she's being overhyped. This tension isn't just on the court, it's spilling into interviews, press conferences, and social media.
You don't think Caitlin Clark could become an issue of national, potentially international, and definitely federal proportions? You don't think so?
If federal investigators take this case, the WNBA could face sweeping reforms, from referee accountability to player safety mandates. And if they don't, the league risks losing its biggest draw and the fans she brought with her.
Senator Jim Banks' 2024 letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert demanded answers on Ms. Clark's treatment. Congress and the administration should demand answers from WNBA leaders, investigate officiating and internal league communications, hold hearings, and insist on real reforms. This is in the Wall Street Journal. The Labor Department should review the league protocols for workplace safety. If evidence shows discrimination or retaliation, the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division must act. If leaders remain inert, Congress should reconsider the WNBA's special privileges, including its antitrust and broadcast considerations. Checking referees' work with NBA-style last 2-minute reports would be a meaningful first step toward building trust.
This is bigger than basketball. It's about how we treat the stars who change the game and whether money and influence are enough to protect them. Stephen A. Smith made the call. Now the question is, will anyone in power answer?
But 17 flagrant fouls have been called against people for beating up on Caitlin Clark. That's practically double what's happened for any other player in the league. They have evidence to say she's being treated unfairly.
Drop your thoughts below. Should the Department of Justice investigate the WNBA? And don't forget to subscribe for more hard-hitting coverage of women's basketball's biggest stories.
That was the first salvo. I'm not asking you. This is Stephen A., baby. I'm telling you. It's the first salvo. It's not an accident that this is coming shortly after the WNBA players foolishly wore those shirts. As Candace Parker pointed out, pay us what you owe us. Antagonizing the league, with pending CBA negotiations coming.
17 flagrant fouls, nearly double the amount any other player in the league has faced. the league's most valuable star targeted night after night. And now, Stephen A. Smith says it's time for the federal government to step in. Is Caitlin Clark being systematically attacked by jealous veterans? And could this scandal explode into the biggest investigation in WNBA history?
Mystics co-owner Sheila Johnson questioned Ms. Clark's 2024 Time Athlete of the Year recognition. Ms. Clark shattered fan vote records with 1.29 million all-star votes, yet ranked only 9th among guards on the player ballot.
This isn't just about basketball anymore. According to Stephen A., the Justice Department could be forced to examine whether the WNBA created a hostile work environment for Caitlin Clark through repeated targeting, lack of protection, and internal politics that go far beyond the court.
Dick Vitale, when the 1.29 million all-star votes came in for Caitlin Clark, yet she was ranked 9th among guards on a player ballot. Quote, absolutely pure jealousy that the WNBA players voted Caitlin Clark the 9th best guard. Someday they will realize what she has done for all of the players in the WNBA. Chartered planes, increase in salary, sold out crowds, improved TV ratings, etc. And they ain't lying. They ain't lying.
17 flagrant fouls. That's nearly twice as many as any other player in the WNBA this season. And this isn't random. These are hard hits from veterans who've been in the league for years, some of whom openly questioned whether Clark deserves the hype.
And those players that are talking about their value, what's going to be held against you is looking at your value when Caitlin Clark is not playing. And when you see a precipitous drop-off, it ain't going to be about y'all, it's going to be about her. Even if it's wrong, even if it's unfair, that's how it's going to go down. And when it goes down like that, that's exactly the kind of ammunition that the president will use to his advantage as he so sees fit.
Fans shattered records to vote Clark into the All-Star game. 1.29 million votes, more than any player in WNBA history. Yet, on the player ballot, she ranked 9th among guards. 9th, behind players many casual fans couldn't even name.
Some of it, Caitlin Clark brings on herself because she talks, she chirps, she antagonizes. That's how Angel Reese became so famous, because Angel Reese clapped back at her the way she was clapping back at people leading into that national championship loss to LSU a few years back when she was at Iowa. And that's how Angel Reese became famous.
Stephen A. calls this the first salvo a warning shot. He says federal investigators could subpoena referee communications, review front office decisions, and question why the league didn't protect its biggest star. This isn't just a sports issue, it's a workplace safety issue.
The players were making a case of what they deserve and what they earn, and right around the time that happens, now you got the Justice Department and the Trump administration being egged on to pay attention to this issue so it will get addressed. And when you have Senator Jim Banks, a senator, writing a letter to the WNBA commissioner demanding answers on Caitlin Clark's treatment.
Clark's rise has been anything but quiet. Her college rivalry with Angel Reese exploded into a national storyline during the 2023 NCAA championship, when Reese's infamous "you can't see me" gesture went viral. That moment cemented their feud and carried over into the pros.
Treatment towards this golden goose, a spectacular talent that is one of the preeminent futures, if not the future face of the WNBA, if she isn't considered that already. And Caitlin Clark, who also happens to be white, playing in the Midwest, with evidence of unfair treatment.
Many veteran players have made subtle and not so subtle comments suggesting Clark hasn't earned her spotlight. But as Stephen A. points out, her popularity has brought charter flights, higher salaries, sold-out arenas, and record-breaking TV ratings. The same players benefiting from those changes ranked her 9th on the ballot. Indiana Senator Jim Banks has already written to the WNBA commissioner demanding answers. If the Justice Department gets involved, the league's emails, text messages, and internal memos could all be reviewed. Sponsors and networks may reconsider their partnerships if the investigation uncovers a hostile environment. The Indiana Fever aren't taking chances in 2025. They've brought in enforcers like Sophie Cunningham and strengthened their roster with players willing to protect Clark at all costs. This isn't just about winning games, it's about sending a message. Targeting stops now. This could define the league's future. If they protect Clark, they keep the golden goose, the face of the WNBA who transformed its economy in just one season. If they fail, they risk losing her to injury, burnout, or even to overseas leagues offering better protection and pay. Stephen A. didn't mince words. This league needs Caitlin Clark more than she needs them. And if federal investigators prove she's being targeted, the fallout could shake the WNBA to its core. Stephen A. didn't mince words. This league needs Caitlin Clark more than she needs them. And if federal investigators prove she's being targeted, the fallout could shake the WNBA to its core. Do you think the government should step in to protect Caitlin Clark? Drop your thoughts in the comments and type "Protect Caitlin Clark" if you agree. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates in this developing story.